Have you ever looked out your window after fresh snow and seen all those little tracks crisscrossing the yard? It's like a secret story written overnight. Well, today, we're going to be nature detectives and figure out exactly who's been visiting. So, you look out at this, and at first, you just see a peaceful, snowy backyard. But look a little closer, it is covered in footprints. You gotta wonder, what exactly happened here last night? Was it just one animal passing through? Or was this the site of a secret meeting? Every single one of these prints is a clue. All right, like any good investigation, you gotta start with the most obvious evidence. And in this case, it's those tons and tons of tiny tracks that seem to go absolutely everywhere. Let's start by looking at our smallest and probably busiest suspects. Okay, so here's our first big question for the case. Looking at all these dotted trails, who do you think is our main culprit? The fact that there are so many of them tells us this is a real hotspot for something small and incredibly active. So, we've got two main suspects, rabbits and squirrels. Now, how in the world do you tell them apart? Well, it's all about the pattern. A rabbit hops, right? And when it does, its big back feet actually land in front of its smaller front feet, making this cool little triangle or Y shape. But a squirrel, it bounds. It lands with all four paws pretty much together in a neat little square. So just remember this, a triangle means rabbit and a square means squirrel. Easy enough. And here's another awesome clue for you. See how these tracks make a beeline for the trees? That is classic squirrel behavior. For them, trees are like their superhighways and their safe houses all in one. So if you follow a trail and it just stops at the base of a tree, yep, you've probably found your squirrel. But of course, they aren't the only tiny visitors. If you've got a bird feeder, you'll probably spot these really delicate, almost arrow-shaped tracks from songbirds. And get this, if you see incredibly tiny prints and there's a faint little line drawn in the snow between them, that's the telltale tail drag of a mouse who is on a mission. Okay, let's zoom out from the little guys for a minute and focus on some of the heavier prints. These visitors might not be as common, but wow, they leave a much bigger impression. Now this is a fantastic clue. I mean, if you're walking around and you find a distinct heart shape pressed right into the snow, you are looking at evidence of a very specific and much, much larger animal. And it's the size that really gives it away. A white-tailed deer is going to leave behind a hoof print that's somewhere between 2 and 3.5 inches long. It's just one of those unmistakable signs that a truly graceful heavyweight has been strolling through your yard. Okay, now here's where things can get a little tricky. Both coyotes and domestic dogs leave 4 padded prints, and they both have claw marks. So how can you possibly tell them apart? Well, you have to look at how they walk. A coyote is all business. It walks in a very straight, very efficient line because it's trying to conserve energy. A domestic dog, on the other hand, it's probably just out there having a good time. Its path is going to wander and zigzag and meander all over the place. You know, the layout of the yard itself is actually a clue. See this open path along the fence line? That's basically a highway for larger animals like deer or coyotes. It gives them a clear, safe path to move from one place to another without having to go through dense brush. So we've got all these different animals, big and small, all crossing through this one yard. You have to ask, why here? It's definitely not a coincidence. This whole collection of tracks, it's telling us a much bigger story about the local ecosystem. And here's the secret. This yard is what's known as a wildlife corridor. That's basically a fancy term for a path that connects larger habitats, which lets animals move around safely, even when there are houses and roads around. So this isn't just a backyard, it's literally a wildlife highway. And this is really why it all matters. You see that line of trees back there? It's connected to other wooded areas, and this open yard serves as a vital link for animals to find food, find mates, or just get from point A to point B. All of these tracks are proof of a thriving hidden ecosystem at work. So now you know the main suspects, you know how to look for clues, and you understand the scene of the crime. It's your turn to investigate. You totally have the tools now to read the stories written in the snow right outside your own window. And really, it just comes down to these 3 simple steps. First, just look at the overall pattern. Is it hopping, bounding, walking? Then zoom in on the shape of one single print. What does it look like? And finally, look for those little details, the size, any claw marks, or a tail drag. With this method, you can solve pretty much any backyard mystery you come across. And that is the absolute key insight here. Seeing this many different kinds of tracks all in one spot is not random at all. It is definitive proof that your yard, your park, your neighborhood is part of a busy, essential route for all the local wildlife.
So the next time it snows, before it all melts away, take a closer look. Grab a cup of coffee, look out your window, and just ask yourself, what secret stories are hiding out there in my snow? You might be really surprised by who